Everybody, welcome to another video here. It's an Excel tip video about vlookups. I'm your host Vincent, and this is on the Remote Accountants channel. Thank you guys for joining us again here today, and hopefully this will be very useful for you. I've been an accountant for many years, and I keep posting tips and tutorials for accountants and bookkeepers, or those who just want to learn more about spreadsheets and learn more about accounting. So today's tutorial is going to be on VLOOKUPs in Excel, because this is a very useful function. I've used this many times myself. And so what we're going to do is talk about if you have a spreadsheet where you're given we'll call it the source information, where you're given John and Sarah as names, and you're given membership numbers, and we're also given amounts too, but we'll type in amounts in a second. And then you have another spreadsheet where you're actually looking that up, because you want to make sure that they're still there, still members, or whatever it may be, and what amounts they might have. You could either do that manually, where I can just say, okay, 14232 for the membership number here for John, but it's quite a different story when you have not just 2 or 3 lines, but thousands of lines, or even hundreds of lines. So in that scenario, you don't want to really do this manually. You want to be able to quickly pull up the name John and put in the value that you see over here on the spreadsheet. And so for this example, we're going to do a VLOOKUP. So you type equals VLOOKUP, and you have to do it in this parenthesis, and you're going to look up the name John, which is here, and it's going to ask you which table you want to choose. So here we're going to choose 2 tables right there. So this is column 1, by the way. This is column 2, and this is column 3. I said 2 tables, by the way. It's one table, but these are the different columns that we have on there. And so then we're going to do the column number. Well, for membership number, you see this is column number 2. This is column 1 again. That's column 2. So you're going to type in 2. And then you're going to do false. False says down here exact match. That's what we want to select. And then you end this function by selecting that. And you see that that pulled the exact amount that we're looking for. So one thing you can do in Excel is you can drag down, I showed this last time, in this little corner, you can drag this function down. Now keep in mind, you want to keep the same name that you're looking up on here and the same table range. So in order to drag this down, we want to keep certain things static. And so we're going to use a $ in front of a few of these functions here. So for John, we want that to carry down, because that's okay if that carries down to the next name. That's what we want. But for the table above, we want to keep the table the same. So for this one over here, we're actually going to do this. Put these $ in front of that. And we're still going to keep column 2, and we still want false, so all of that is fine. And notice how this hasn't changed for John, because this is just going to be good for us so that we can drag it down. And if you look at the formula, you see that you're still pulling from the same data above, and you're keeping everything else the same except for the name Sarah, which is what we want to look up. Now here's a great scenario here. So say you're given a cell that doesn't exist, right? Well, you'll see up here that it makes sense, because we only have John and Sarah's name in here, and Max doesn't exist. This is exactly what we want to happen in a VLOOKUP, because you don't want to produce numbers or amounts or even account codes for something that doesn't exist. You want the system to tell you that, hey, this is not there. So here this is telling us that by the NA function. So let's do one thing in here again. So what's neat about VLOOKUPs is that you can do this for different columns, as we said. And so here we'll type in some amounts. We'll say this is $25 and this is $50. So once again, we want to look up this data. So what we can do is go ahead and we'll do one more string function here. We're going to keep something static because we want to keep John the same. We don't want it to move over to the next cell here, but we still want to look up the data above. So we'll just make that static. And so when we drag this over, you'll see that this is pulling this information. Then we got to change one more thing over here. That column 2 needs to be column 3. Remember, column 3 is this D function there. So there you go, pulling the $25. And so once again for Sarah, we'll do the same thing here. Just to show you guys again what it's about. We're going to keep Sarah the same. And we'll keep that column there as the same, as we'll change that after we drag it over. This column number is going to be column number 3. There you go. So it's going to pull that amount, and this is just formatted differently. You can quickly adjust the formats on there. But what's great about VLOOKUPs is that it's a wonderful way of being able to quickly pull data in different spreadsheets, or just if it could be on the same spreadsheet but different tables, where you can just get that information in rather than having to manually do it, because it takes a lot of time to manually type this in when you're dealing with, like I said, hundreds if not thousands of rows and columns where you have to get that data. So this is just a really great function to do, and it's easy to do. I've used it many times myself in accounting, especially when you're like looking at chart of accounts. That's another thing. Like if you needed to say this wasn't names, but accountants with account numbers and even amounts on there, it's the same thing that you'd be doing in here to look up different accounts. So guys, you should use this function if you haven't used it already. If you already know about it, maybe you got a little refresher on it, or perhaps even know better tips about it. Some people are more advanced too as well. But I hope this helped you guys out. Again, my name is Vince. I'm the host here for Remote Accountants. If you guys like this video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and also join the Facebook group that's there for everybody, where I post job opportunities, accounting questions. It's mostly about remote opportunities, by the way, so you can be anywhere in the world for an accounting, or if you even if you're in finance. And so just that link I'll try to include in the description in this video as well, so you get that Facebook group. But thank you guys, and we look forward to the next video. Again, I'll do more Excel tip videos. I'll also do accounting videos. Some of the videos will be basic. Some of the videos will be a little more advanced. It just depends on what we're covering for that day. So thank you guys again, and take care.